Well, it is Sunday, and I'm working when I'm normally off. Anyway, welcome to yet another episode of my program, Nerds with Badges. And for all that don't know, I created Nerds with Badges because, um, as a nerd, or blurred as black people we're calling ourselves now. I'm really into like comic books, video games, pop culture, and I felt like there are other security guards, people with military backgrounds, even police officers, anybody that wears a badge that's into the nerd culture. This would be like the platform for me to talk about things that are going on in the nerd world, and also give other people, connect with other nerds with badges like myself. And a little bit about me. My name is Sergio Willis, and I have been working for the LGBT company. I'm eating cookies now. I got all this stuff all over my face. I've been working for this company for 17 years now, and this will probably be. I will probably be leaving the company next year. That's what I'm thinking about, because as an artist, I really want to be able to pursue, uh, to really put more time into doing the stuff that I really like. It's like I'm a writer. I did three comic books this year, part of last year. Three comic books. I'm working on an animated project right now. I'm going to be going into production on a film pretty soon. The script is still being worked on. The film is a superhero project. It's actually a soft reboot of a web series that I used to do on YouTube years ago. So I'm sort of doing a soft reboot. The film is called Sons of Legend, and Sons of Legend, for all that don't know, is basically a kind of a, I want to say it's kind of like this in the spirit of The Boys. So it's kind of like it's a superhero type of project, but it deals with people that might not necessarily want to be heroes or villains, people that just happen to have powers, and they're just put in this position where they are trained in this special program. And the program is a reality TV show that just kind of like takes you along as they're training, getting their costumes and code names and everything. I always thought that the reality TV show medium was never really fully tapped into as far as its potential goes. So I want to do something like that with superheroes. And as a black gay man who's been reading comic books and really been into all this stuff since like I was a wee lad, I it really started to bother me at some point in my life, as I really started to notice that there weren't a lot of characters in a lot of these mediums that I love and support that really look like me and that I can really relate to. So it was really important for me to create characters that, with diversity, that people would be able to like watch and relate to. Like I grew up with Star Wars. Okay, I grew up with Star Wars. I came up with Lord of the Rings. Well, before Lord of the Rings was a big Hollywood monster, it was still very popular pop culture. Um, there were books, there was a cartoon, and Peter Jackson came in and did the three movies. And but I've always loved sword and sorcery. Love all this stuff. I mean, I used to love watching Dungeons and Dragons on TV, the cartoon, when I was a kid. One of my favorite movies, I think it is my favorite sword and sorcery movie, would be Dragon Slayer. I think that movie really made me fall in love with the genre, because it's the idea of wizards and dragons and warriors, all that stuff is just so cool. I remember seeing that Dragon Slayer on HBO back in the 80s, when HBO only had like maybe 5 movies that they would show on rotation constantly when they first launched the platform. I remember Dragon Slayer There was a movie, I think it was Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Trek. I think it was Star Trek, the motion picture. I remember seeing Indiana Jones a lot. There was just a few movies that they had that they would just show on constant rotation, and Dragon Slayer was one of those movies. And just the score, the music, everything, just the whole atmosphere. And I'm so surprised that, God, please don't let anybody remake this movie and mess it up. But I'm so surprised that nobody's remade it yet. It's just was perfect. And I remember there was a movie I used to like called Sword and Sorcerer, and Krull was a popular one. I know there was another one. I think it was Hawk the Slayer or something like that. And of course, there's Conan. You can't. You gotta have Conan. And then there was this amazing cartoon that came out. I think it was in the '80s. It might have been the early '90s, but it was called Fire and Ice, and it was by an animator named Ralph Bakshi, who's pretty well known for doing the Mighty Mouse cartoon. And yeah, so I love all this stuff, and I'm saying all that to say, as a black gay man, I'm watching all these things, and of course there ain't no black people in this. Come on, there might be a few people in the background, but they ain't no main characters. And I always thought it was, it just really started like, okay, why? You mean to tell me that only white people could be like wizards and warriors? I'm being funny, but at some point, in life, you just go, okay, why? There are a lot of black people that I know that love this stuff, and come on now, give the kids something. Don't just give us a sucky character with weak ass powers that don't really work, that really aren't really worth anything. Because a lot of times, that was the thing. It's still kind of a joke where the black character is the one that gets killed before anybody else in the worst way. And then there's the stereotypes, and now the joke is the hair that they when they put black people in video games, and a lot of times they'll have the same hairstyle since the Black Panther movie. Everybody, all of a sudden everybody's got Killmonger's hairstyle. It's just, but I understand. This is the same thing that happened with comic books, with black characters in the 70s, in the 80s when they started introducing black characters in these things. Sometimes you would have the characters and they'd be like just useless, or they're being written by white people that probably really don't even know any black people. So the characters are just being depicted in some ways that are not even really accurate to the culture. Like, I don't know any black people who say Sweet Christmas. I don't know where that came from. I love you, Luke Cage, by the way. But yeah, I'm just saying, white, just so. And I think, if I'm a white guy and I'm white, and the culture of all this is white, has always been white. I mean, let's be honest. I might not even really be, I don't know, maybe I'm not even conscious of, okay, I'm going to look around and say, okay, why aren't there any black people in Star Wars? So we did finally get Lando Calrissian. And, I guess he's the only one who survived because Luke Skywalker's dead, Princess Leia died, Han Solo died, stabbed by his son. So yeah, I think did Chewbacca die? I'm trying to think. Yeah, but all the main people from Star Wars are like gone. I really think Billy Dee Williams, I think he's the only main character that might be left. I don't know if the actor who plays Chewbacca is still alive. So yeah, flash forward, we get stuff like Willow. We did get a Dungeons and Dragons movie that was just awful. I won't say it was awful. It just, I think, was it Marlon Wayans in the movie? Now, the recent Dungeons and Dragons movie that they did was fire. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that movie. It was very well done. I hope they make another one. Don't just put black people, people of color in it. You just make it good. That's the important thing. But you gotta, this is 2024. You gotta start representing, different cultures in your medium. Especially, it's not just It's not just one race. It's not just one culture that's supporting your stuff. You got kids of all cultures are watching this stuff, and and it's and it does have an effect. And I think that is for so long it's been pretty much everybody's white, and I think it's become accepted. There may even be pushback from people of color because you can get accused of just being woke by having someone who's it's just. But yeah, you gotta try to represent people. There's a wrong and a right way, of course. But you don't just have us in a movie for 5 minutes and then just kill us in like the worst possible way, or just have us like with some weak ass, useless superpower. I'm tired of the stereotype, the angry black man, you know, criminal past. It's just sometimes when they have superhero characters that are black, they will make them like so OP, and then there's the I'll have a character who's just like so I'll make them racially ambiguous. People do that sometimes. Miles Morales, but then I love Miles Morales, but either make him black and Puerto Rican. You just couldn't make a black character and a Puerto Rican character. But I digress. Miles Morales, he's a pretty cool character. I don't know what the hell they're doing with his powers right now, because I know he's making electric swords at one point, and now he's a vampire. I decided to limit myself to just reading 2 comic books, because comic books are so expensive now. They're like $4.99, $5.99. So I said, let me just read Wonder Woman and Blade, because I grew up watching Wonder Woman when I was a kid, and Blade, I like vampires, and you got a brother who's got martial arts skills, and he fights vampires and monsters. So, and I figure, if I read these books, it's probably a safe bet that they won't get too caught up in like big crossovers. Wonder Woman, that was kind of dumb on my part, because Wonder Woman is a popular character, and if there's a big crossover in DC universe, Wonder Woman is going to be a part of it. So it means I got to read all these other books that Wonder Woman is in, because it's dealing with this absolute power storyline they're doing right now, which I kind of got caught up in. And then they did a big thing with Blade in the Marvel comics recently called Blood Hunt, where Blade turned bad and unleashed vampire hell on the whole Marvel universe. So that's like over 40 books, I think it was, to read all the whole story. So man, even trying to limit myself to 2 books is still, comic books is just, it's gotten so expensive, and I understand why people do these videos on YouTube that you can watch and just get like the breakdown on stuff that's happening. Otherwise you have to spend like $1 gazillion. This is expensive reading, buying comics, video games, going to the movies is like $20. Buying a DVD or a Blu-ray, it can be expensive. Blu-rays average like $24.99, I think, for like new releases. And just a lot of the time when you buy a Blu-ray, HD 4K, they will give you a Blu-ray, a DVD, and a digital copy. But the digital copies expire though eventually, so be mindful of that when if you get one of those. Because I still have digital copies of some movies that I haven't redeemed yet. I don't even know if the codes still work. They give you codes. So I do read a lot of books, and I'm trying to cut back. But man, these crossovers. I play a lot of video games. I try to get in at least an hour a day of video games. That's my thing. I usually end up going over an hour, but they say it's good for hand and eye coordination. So typically I will play Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt on my PlayStation 5 for about an hour. That game came out technically, I guess, about 4 years ago. It's been 4 or 5 years ago. It was like in, I think, was it beta? But it's always been free to play. So you just buy like different costumes for your characters and stuff like that. So it's like a battle royale. You're a vampire. There's different vampire tribes that have different powers, and you run around and it's third person to actually see your character. I play that. There's still a lot of people playing that. It's not a long waiting time for matches. And I guess a lot of that has to do with the fact it's on PlayStation 5 and it's also on PC. There's a lot of people that play games on PC. Cool thing about PC is they don't charge you for online. Don't tell anybody. So that's one of the things that I'm starting to think a lot more about getting away from console gaming, because everything has subscription prices on console gaming. PlayStation Plus, Xbox Game Pass, and Nintendo, which is only like $20 a year, so that's nothing. But Game Pass is so weird, and I've been a gamer for a long time. I'm 55 now. I just turned 55 on the 15th of August. My first video game system, my first video game system, I think it was a ColecoVision, because I think I'd borrowed game systems before from friends, but my mother and my stepfather bought me and my sisters a ColecoVision when we were living in New York, and I think it only came with, I think they gave us maybe 2 games. It was Donkey Kong, and I think the other game was Space Panic, where you just kind of like ran around trying to dig holes in the ground before the aliens would get you or something. God, I don't remember what year that was. It was maybe 80. If it was 84, 85. May have been before that. I don't remember. Maybe it was 83, 82. But yeah, we'd sneaked in the closet and looked before Christmas, and we knew we were getting that. We just tried to pretend on Christmas morning we had to open the box. I'm sure they knew we'd looked. I'm sure they knew. So that was my first video game system. Since then, I have owned a regular Nintendo. I don't know where that is. I wish I kept that, but I've owned ColecoVision, regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, which I still have, Sega Genesis, I still have that, Sega Master System, still have that somewhere, N64, GameCube, Atari 2600, I think I may still have one of those around somewhere. I know I have a DS Lite. I may have a couple of those. I have a 3DS. I have a Sega Saturn. I have a Dreamcast. I have a PlayStation 2 somewhere. That's the Dreamcast. What else? I know there's something else. I have so many systems, to be honest. I have an original Xbox. I have Xbox One. I have an Xbox Series S. And I have a PlayStation 4, which needs to be repaired. PlayStation 3 somewhere. I got a PlayStation 5, which I play more on that. I have Asus ROG Ally. I have a Steam Deck. I have a Nintendo Switch. I have a Wii U. I have a Wii. I know I left out some. I have a lot of systems. I really do like games. The problem that I'm running into nowadays is that it seems like my backlog is just getting out of control. So I'm thinking that I might take a break from buying games. I guess that's the benefit of having a subscription service. You can just see what's available and just play. You don't really have to buy games. I do like to own my shit. Excuse me. But yeah, definitely games are expensive now too. That's another thing. With these subscription prices, these subscription services, I'm thinking that I will not be buying too many games going forward. There's a couple of games this year that I'm excited about, which is Epic Mickey Rebrushed and the Astrobot PlayStation game. The Indiana Jones game that's coming out was supposed to be an Xbox exclusive, but then we found it's not Xbox exclusive. What are you doing, Xbox? That's a whole nother conversation. Those are the only 3 games that I can think of. There was an indie game that I was waiting for to come on Steam. I think it's called Sept, about this white pillow-looking creature that's running around. It's like a side-scroller adventure. So I'm waiting for that game to come out. It was supposed to actually come out already. But yeah, really don't really have a lot of a disposable income anyway. As this year goes by, I'm going to really be focusing a lot more on my projects because, as you know, it costs money to make things happen. I got to pay for my film, I got to pay to put out my comic books, and I got to work on my animated project more. So, yeah, I guess I think it's a good idea. At some point, you have to just start focusing on your backlog and cutting back. Otherwise, you'll just never. I see these people do these game reviews, and I'm like, the game just came out like last week. You just finished? How is that possible? But I guess when you have the time, usually I'm maybe playing at any given moment in time, playing about maybe 12 games bit by bit. It might take me a year to finish a game, and that may even be generous. Like, what was the last game that I actually finished? I know I did finish something recently, my God. But yeah, it's just when you're playing a bunch of games, and sometimes the games have complicated controls. You go a long time without playing, and you gotta kind of go like through a tutorial or something to like remember. Remember somebody talked about that before. I think it was Spawn Wave, who does his videos about video games. He was talking about playing something that I guess he had to kind of like go back and like get familiar with the controls again. That sometimes games have these really complicated controls. So yeah, and I played Godzilla today. I played Vampire the Masquerade on my PlayStation. I played Concord, which is actually not bad. It's not a bad game. I know it's getting a lot of hate right now by people, but it's really not. It's not that bad. I still can't believe it took 8 years to make, but it's not bad. I do wish that some of the characters were more balanced because it seems like I just took like 3 shots and that was it. And they need like more skins. They need like more interesting characters. And $40 for a game like that, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what they can do to save the game. It may just be doomed. I mean, there are some things they could do, but I don't know if they would do it because it would be too much like right. But if I were Sony, what I would do, I would have some guest characters show up. I would have a real story mode, and at some point in the near future, I would definitely make it free to play, and maybe, and like this would be too much like right for them to do this. Put it on other platforms. Put it on Xbox. Put it on Xbox. So you have PC, PlayStation, Xbox. Make it free to play. Bring in some guest characters. Get a kick-ass story mode. Have some cool skins. I mean, there are things that they can do, but they would definitely have to put some money into this to do all these things, and I don't know if they're going to. But they really made a big deal about the game, and it would be a shame if the game, it crashed and burned. It reminds me of Overwatch. I'm not even gonna lie. I like playing as the black character, only black guy in the game. He's like a healer, but I like the fact that he can literally jump like 3 times. It's like he jumps, and so I think he's the only character that can do that, and he can heal, which is always great. And he throws this like weird looking grenade thing that just kind of homes in and blows up. So he's kind of, it's kind of a cool character. So that's like the character that I've been playing with. I bought the game, I was trying to like, so what is Sony doing as far as exclusives go? I really try to get into exclusives. That actually may be what I'm going to be doing going forward. It's just maybe if I'm buying a game for any of the platforms, it'll just be like exclusives, and everything else I'll just, play when it, comes around, and maybe look for a sale or something. But yeah, games are now like $69.99, and even Nintendo is raising the prices of their games, so that's something to be mindful of. Sorry, I'm here at work before my shift starts. I try to come in at least an hour early so I can have some coffee and relax and play some games. I was going to play some games tonight. on my Chromebook, which is what I'm using to do this video. But I looked in the Play Store. I was gonna play Alien Isolation, which I installed like a few weeks ago when I was on vacation. I went to North Dakota, and I installed it on my Razer Edge, and I was gonna try to play it, maybe continue where I left off at. And it says, when I went to the Play Store, it says this game is not compatible with your device, and I'm like, this is a Chromebook Plus. It's supposed to be a powerful Chromebook machine. Why the hell would a game that came out like 15 years ago not work on a Chromebook? And it's working on my Razer Edge, and it's even said it was compatible with my my other device, my is it RB55, I think, or no, RB556, like a kind of a retro kind of. But yeah, I don't understand why won't Alien Isolation work on a Chromebook? It's like, damn. And I was looking at the Play Store, man. I tell you, man, the Play Store just needs a better selection of games, man. There is no excuse. Y'all need to get some better games. There's a few decent games in there, but I don't understand. And so just assuming that most people are playing on their phones and they don't really need any quality games. We got Call of Duty. So anyway, I got about 15 minutes before my shift starts officially, and we just started. They had budget cuts, and they changed a lot of stuff around, and they got rid of a lot of people. A lot of people got laid off. Out of all the security guards here, quite a few got laid off. So they changed our patrols and everything. So I gotta get accustomed to that, and the fact that I'm working on weekends now. I used to be off Saturday and Sunday. That was my schedule for like the last 12, 13 years. Now I'm working on Saturdays and Sundays, and I have different off days now. So I gotta get used to that, and it's gonna be an adjustment. But Sunday night should be a pretty quiet night. I got a spray, so I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my coffee. I'm gonna try to watch. Maybe I'll watch a little bit of Terminator. The new Terminator cartoon on Netflix. I just wanted to like talk for a minute because I haven't done a video like this for a while now, and I really want to try to do them more frequently, and I want to get back to having guests as well. So it's just been just trying to get myself focused. Because sometimes, man, life happens and you just get like, whoa, just kind of bouncing around trying to recover. The next time I come back, I want to talk more about my projects and things. And it is 9:47 p.m. over here in Los Angeles right now. My shift starts. So I'm out of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this coffee. Probably try to rush and make me another cup real quick because there ain't no microwave over there in the other office, the other location where I'm working at tonight. I don't even know what my schedule is for tonight. Anyway, I'm out of here. I will talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your holiday, and I will try to come back and do a video at least weekly. I got to get into the habit of doing that. Baby steps.